Hari Om. Pratna Piyush, page 95. Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara
Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara
Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara
Gajamukheshwara Sankat Harin Dayanana
Sankat Harina Dayanana
Sankat Harin Dayanana
Sankat Harina Dayanana
Parvati Putra Krupanana
Parvati Putra Krupanana
Amba Parvati Putra Krupanana
Amba Parvati Putra Krupanana
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Mushakvahan Gajanana
Mushakvahan
Gajanana Mushakvahan Gajanana
Mushakvahan
Gajanana Modak Hasta Gajanana
Modakahasta
Gajanana Mam Pahi Pahi Gajanana
Mam Pahi Pahi
Gajanana Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara
Gajamukheshwara Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara
Karunya
Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara Karunya Lavanya Vigneshwara Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara
Ganeshwara Gajamukheshwara Gajamukheshwara Gajamukheshwara
page 91 Jaya Gurudevam Chinmayanandam प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवं महर्निशम्।
जय गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्।
जय गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवं महर्निशम्।
जय गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्।
धर्मोद्धारकं गीताप्रचारकं धर्मोद्धारकं गीताप्रचारकं
धर्मोद्धारकं गीताप्रचारकम्
आनन्दरूपम् आत्मस्वरूपम्
आनन्दरूपं तत्त्वस्वरूपम्
आनन्दरूपम् आत्मस्वरूपं। जय
गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्।
तामसहारकम् उत्साहवर्धकं
तामसहारकम् उत्साहवर्धकं
तामसहारकम् उत्साहवर्धकं
तामसहारकम् उत्साहवर्धकं
तपोवनशीर्षं तत्त्वस्वरूपम्
तपोवनशीर्षं तत्त्वस्वरूपम्
तपोवनशीर्षं तत्त्वस्वरूपम्।
जय गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्। जय गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्।
प्रेमहृदयिनं परमविरागिणं
प्रेमहृदयिनं परमविरागिणं
प्रेमहृदयिनं परमविरागिणं
प्रेमहृदयिनं परमविरागिणं
सन्न्यासिनं गुरुं शिरसा नमाम्यहम्
सन्न्यासिनं गुरुं शिरसा नमाम्यहम्
सन्न्यासिनं गुरुं शिरसा नमाम्यहम्।
जय गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्। जय
गुरुदेवं चिन्मयानन्दं प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशं। प्रणमाम्यहं गुरुदेवम् अहर्निशम्। वन्दे सच्चिन्मयानन्दं देशिकं ब्रह्मचारिणं तत्त्वज्ञानोपदेष्टारं काश्युत्तरनिवासिनं स्वागतं वन्दनं चैव पादपूजां च कुर्महे गृह्णीष्व नो न गृह्णीष्व प्रसीद यतिभूपते प्रसीद यतिभूपते।
ॐ न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यत्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्था संन्यासयोगात् यतयत् शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृता परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दहरं विपापं परमेश्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यस्सगस्थं तत्रापि दहरं गगनं विशोकस्तन्तस्तुपासितव्यं यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति।
We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.
ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः।
Page 67, Vishnu Sahasranam, actually page 68.
शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिर्भिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथम् ॐ विश्वं विष्णुर्वषट्कारः भूतभव्यभवत्प्रभुः भूतकृद्भूतभृद्भावः भूतात्मा भूतभावनः भूतात्मा परमात्मा च मुक्तानां परमागतिः अव्ययः पुरुषः साक्षी क्षेत्रज्ञोऽक्षर एव च योगो योगविदां नेता प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः नारसिंहवपुः श्रीमान् केशवः पुरुषोत्तमः सर्वः शिवस्थाणुः भूतादिर्निधिरव्ययः सम्भवो भावनो भर्ता प्रभवः प्रभुरीश्वरः स्वयंभुः शम्भुरादित्यः पुष्कराक्षो महास्वनः अनादिनिधनो धाता विधाता धातुरुत्तमः अप्रमेयो हृषीकेशः पद्मनाभोऽमरप्रभुः विश्वकर्मा मनुस्त्वष्टा स्थविष्टस्थविरो ध्रुवः अग्राह्यः शाश्वतः कृष्णः लोहिताक्षप्रतर्दनः प्रभूतस्त्रिककुब्धाम पवित्रं मङ्गलं परम् ईशानः प्राणदः प्राणः ज्येष्ठश्रेष्ठः प्रजापतिः हिरण्यगर्भो भूगर्भः माधवो मधुसूदनः ईश्वरो विक्रमी धन्वी मेधावी विक्रमक्रमः अनुत्तमो दुराधर्षः कृतज्ञकृतिरात्मवान् सुरेशः शरणं शर्मा विश्वरेता प्रजाभवः अहः संवत्सरो व्यालः प्रत्ययः सर्वदर्शनः अजः सर्वेश्वरः सिद्धः सिद्धिः सर्वादिरच्युतः वृषा कपिरमेयात्मा सर्वयोगविनिःसृतः वसुर्वसुमनः सत्यः समात्मा संमितः समः अमोघः पुण्डरीकाक्षः वृषकर्मा वृषाकृतिः रुद्रो बहुशिरा बभ्रुः विश्वयोनिः शुचिश्रवाः अमृतः शाश्वतस्थाणुः वरारोहो महातपाः सर्वगः सर्वविद्भानुः विश्वक्सेनो जनार्दनः वेदो वेदविदव्यङ्गः वेदाङ्गो वेदवित्कविः लोकाध्यक्षः सुराध्यक्षः धर्माध्यक्षः कृताकृतः चतुरात्मा चतुर्व्यूहः चतुर्दंष्ट्रश्चतुर्भुजः भ्राजिष्णुर्भोजनं भोक्ता सहिष्णुर्जगदादिजः अनघो विजयो जेता विश्वयोनिः पुनर्वसुः उपेन्द्रो वामनप्रांशुः अमोघः शुचिरूर्जितः अतीन्द्रः सङ्ग्रहः सर्गः धृतात्मा नियमो यमः वेद्यो वैद्यः सदा योगी वीरः माधवो मधुः अतीन्द्रियो महामायः महोत्साहो महाबलः महाबुद्धिर्महावीर्यः महाशक्तिर्महाद्युतिः अनिर्देशवपुः श्रीमान् अमेयात्मा महाधृदृक् महेश्वासो महीभर्ता श्रीनिवासः सतां गतिः अनिरुद्धः सुरानन्दः गोविन्दो गोविदाम्पतिः मरीचिर्दमनो हंसः सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपाः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः अमृत्युः सर्वदृक्सिंहः सन्धाता सन्धिमान् स्थिरः अजो दुर्मर्षणः शास्ता विश्रुतात्मा सुरारिः गुरुर्गुरुतमो धाम सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः अग्रणीर्ग्रामणी श्रीमान् न्यायो नेता समीरणः सहस्रमूर्धा विश्वात्मा सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् आवर्तनो निवृत्तात्मा संवृतः सम्प्रमर्दनः अहः संवर्तको वह्निः अनिलोधरणीधरः सुप्रसाद प्रसन्नात्मा विश्वधृग् विश्वभुग् विभुः सत्कर्ता सत्कृतः साधुः जन्नुर्नारायणो नरः असंख्येयो प्रमेयात्मा विशिष्टः शिष्टकृच्छुचिः सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसंकल्पः सिद्धिदः सिद्धिसाधनः वृषा हि वृषभो विष्णुः वृषपर्वा वृषोदरः वर्धनो वर्धमानश्च विविक्तः श्रुतिसागरः सुभुजो दुर्धरो वाग्मी महेन्द्रो वसुदो वसुः नैकरूपो बृहद्रूपः शिपिविष्टप्रकाशनः ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः रुद्धः स्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः अमृतांशुद्भवो भानुः शशबिन्दुः सुरेश्वरः औषधं जगतः सेतुः सत्यधर्मपराक्रमः भूतभव्यभवन्नाथः पवनः पावनो नलः कामः कामकृत्कान्तः कामः कामप्रदप्रभुः युगादिकृद्युगावर्तः नैकमायो महाशनः अदृश्यो व्यक्तरूपश्च सहस्रजिदनन्तजित् इष्टो विशिष्टशिष्टेष्टः शिखण्डी नहुषो वृषः क्रोधः क्रोधकृत्कर्ता विश्वबाहुर्महीधरः अच्युत प्रथित प्राणः प्राणदो वासवानुजः अपां निधिरधिष्ठानम् अप्रमत्त प्रतिष्ठितः स्कन्दः स्कन्दधरो दुर्यः वरदो वायुवाहनः वासुदेवो बृहद्भानुः आदिदेवः पुरन्दरः अशोकस्तारणस्तारः शूरः शौरिर्जनेश्वरः अनुकूलः शतावर्तः पद्मी पद्मनिभेक्षणः पद्मनाभोरविन्दाक्षः पद्मगर्भः शरीरभृत् महर्धिर्वृद्धो वृद्धात्मा महाक्षो गरुडध्वजः अतुलः शरभो भीमः समयज्ञो हविर्हरिः सर्वलक्षणलक्षण्यः लक्ष्मीवान् समितिञ्जयः विक्षरो रोहितो मार्गः हेतुर्दामोदरः सहः महीधरो महाभागः वेगवानमिताशनः उद्भवक्षोभणो देवः श्रीगर्भः परमेश्वरः करणं कारणं कर्ता विकर्ता गहनो गुहः व्यवसायो व्यवस्थानः संस्थानस्थानदो ध्रुवः परर्धिः परमस्पष्टः तुष्टः पुष्टः शुभेक्षणः
रामो विरामो विरजः
मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरः शक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठः धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः वैकुण्ठः पुरुषः प्राणः प्राणदः प्रणवः पृथुः हिरण्यगर्भः शत्रुघ्नः व्याप्तो वायुरधोक्षजः ऋतुः सुदर्शनः कालः परमेष्ठी परिग्रहः उग्रः संवत्सरो दक्षः विश्रामो विश्वदक्षिणः विस्तारस्थावरस्थाणुः प्रमाणं बीजमव्ययम् अर्थोऽनर्थो महाकोशः महाभोगो महाधनः अनिर्विण्णस्तविष्टो भूः धर्मयूपो महामखः नक्षत्रनेमिर्नक्षत्री क्षमक्षामः समीहनः यज्ञ इज्यो महीज्यश्च क्रतुः सत्रं सतां गतिः सर्वदर्शी विमुक्तात्मा सर्वज्ञो ज्ञानमुत्तमम् सुव्रतः सुमुखः सूक्ष्मः सुघोषः सुखदः सुहृत् मनोहरो जितक्रोधः वीरबाहुर्विदारणः स्वापनः स्ववशो व्यापी नैकात्मा नैककर्मकृत् वत्सरो वत्सलो वत्सी रत्नगर्भो धनेश्वरः धर्मगुप्धर्मकृद्धर्मी सदसक्षरमक्षरम् अविज्ञाता सहस्रांशुः विधाता कृतलक्षणः गभस्तिनेमिः सत्त्वस्थः सिंहो भूतमहेश्वरः आदिदेवो महादेवः देवेशो देवभृद्गुरुः
उत्तरो गोपतिर्गोप्ता ज्ञानगम्य पुरातनः शरीरभूतभृद्भोक्ता कपीन्द्रो भूरि दक्षिणः सोमपो मृतपः सोमः पुरुजित् पुरुषोत्तमः विनयो जयः सत्यसन्धः दाशार्हः सात्वतां पतिः जीवो विनयिता साक्षी मुकुन्दो मितविक्रमः अम्भो निधिरनन्तात्मा महोदधिशयोऽन्तकः अजो महार्हः स्वाभाव्यः जितामित्रप्रमोदनः आनन्दो नन्दनो नन्दः सत्यधर्मात्रिविक्रमः महर्षिः कपिलाचार्यः कृतज्ञो मेदिनीपतिः त्रिपदस्त्रिदशाध्यक्षः महाशृङ्गकृतान्तकृत् महावराहो गोविन्दः सुषेणः कनकाङ्गदी गुह्यो गभीरो गहनः गुप्तश्चक्रगदाधरः वेधास्वाङ्गोजितः कृष्णः दृढः सङ्कर्षणोच्युतः वरुणो वारुणो वृक्षः पुष्कराक्षो महामनाः भगवान् भगहानन्दी वनमाली हलायुधः आदित्यो ज्योतिरादित्यः सहिष्णुर्गतिसत्तमः सुधन्वाखण्डपरशुः दारुणो द्रविणप्रदः दिवस्पृक् सर्वदृग्व्यासः वाचस्पतिरयोनिजः त्रिसामासामगः साम निर्वाणं भेषजम्भिषक् सन्न्यासकृच्चमः शान्तः निष्ठा शान्तिपरायणम् शुभाङ्गः शान्तिदः स्रष्टा कुमुदः कुवलेशयः गोहितो गोपतिर्गोप्ता वृषभाक्षो वृषप्रियः अनिवर्ती
निवृत्तात्मा संक्षेप्ता क्षेमकृच्छिवः श्रीवत्सवक्षा श्रीवासः श्रीपतिः श्रीमताम्बरः श्रीदः श्रीशः श्रीनिवासः श्रीनिधिः श्रीविभावनः श्रीधरः श्रीकरः श्रेयः श्रीमान् लोकत्रयाश्रयः स्वक्षः शृङ्गः शतानन्दः नन्दिर्ज्योतिर्गणेश्वरः विजितात्मा विधेयात्मा सत्कीर्तिश्चिन्न संशयः उदीर्णः सर्वतश्चक्षुः अनीशः शाश्वतस्थिरः भूषयो भूषणो भूतिः विशोकः शोकनाशनः अर्चिष्मानर्चितः कुम्भः विशुद्धात्मा विशोधनः अनिरुद्धो प्रतिरथः प्रद्युम्नोमितविक्रमः कालनेमिनिहा वीरः शौरिः शूरजनेश्वरः त्रिलोकात्मा त्रिलोकेशः केशवः केशिहा हरिः कामदेवः कामपालः कामी कान्तकृतागमः अनिर्देशवपुर्विष्णुः वीरोऽनन्तो धनञ्जयः
ब्रह्मण्यो ब्रह्मकृद्ब्रह्म ब्रह्म ब्रह्म विवर्धनः ब्रह्मविद् ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मी ब्रह्मज्ञो ब्राह्मणप्रियः महाक्रमो महाकर्मा महातेजा महोरगः महाक्रतुर्महायज्वा महायज्ञो महाहविः स्तव्यस्तव प्रियस्तोत्रम् स्तुतिस्तोतारणप्रियः पूर्णः पूरयिता पुण्यः पुण्यकीर्तिरनामयः मनोजवस्तीर्थकरः वसुरेता वसुप्रदः वसुप्रदो वासुदेवः वसुर्वसुमनः हविः सद्गतिः सत्कृतिः सत्ता सद्भूतिः सत्परायणः शूरसेनो यदुश्रेष्ठः सन्निवासः सुयामुनः
भूतावासो
वासुदेवः सर्वासु निलयो नलः दर्पः दर्पदो दृप्तः दुर्धरोऽथा पराजितः विश्वमूर्तिर्महामूर्तिः दीप्तमूर्तिरमूर्तिमान् अनेकमूर्तिरव्यक्तः
शतमूर्तिः शताननः एकोनैकः स वक्कः किम्
यत्तत्पदमनुत्तमम् लोकबन्धुर्लोकनाथः माधवो भक्तवत्सलः सुवर्णवर्णो हेमाङ्गः वराङ्गश्चन्दनाङ्गदी वीरः विषमः शून्यः घृताशीरचलश्चलः अमानी मानदो मान्यः लोकस्वामी त्रिलोकधृक् सुमेधा मेधजो धन्यः सत्यमेधाधराधरः तेजो वृषोद्युतिधरः सर्वशस्त्रभृताम्बरः प्रग्रहो निग्रहो व्यग्रः नैकशृङ्गो गदाग्रजः चतुर्मूर्तिश्चतुर्बाहुः चतुर्व्यूहश्चतुर्गतिः चतुरात्मा चतुर्भावः चतुर्वेदविदेकपात् समावर्तो निवृत्तात्मा दुर्जयो दुरतिक्रमः दुर्लभो दुर्गमो दुर्गः दुरावासो दुरारिः शुभाङ्गो लोकसारङ्गः सुतन्तुस्तन्तुवर्धनः इन्द्रकर्मा महाकर्मा कृतकर्मा कृतागमः उद्भवः सुन्दरः सुन्दरः रत्ननाभः सुलोचनः अर्को वाजसनः शृङ्गी जयन्तः सर्वविजयी सुवर्णबिन्दुरक्षोभ्यः सर्ववागीश्वरेश्वरः महाह्रदो महागर्तः महाभूतो महानिधिः
कुमुदः
कुन्दरः कुन्दः पर्जन्यः पावनोऽनिलः अमृताशो मृतवपुः सर्वज्ञः सर्वतोमुखः सुलभः सुव्रतः सिद्धः शत्रुजिच्छत्रुतापनः न्यग्रोधोदुम्बरोऽश्वत्थः चाणूरान्द्रनिषूदनः सहस्राचिः सप्तजिह्वः सप्तैधा सप्तवाहनः अमूर्तिरनघोचिन्त्यः भयकृद्भयनाशनः अणुर्बृहत्कृशस्थूलः गुणभृन्निर्गुणो महान् अधृतः स्वधृतः स्वास्यः प्राग्वंशो वंशवर्धनः भारभृत्कथितो योगी योगीशः सर्वकामदः आश्रमश्रमणक्षामः सुपर्णो वायुवाहनः धनुर्धरो धनुर्वेदः दण्डो दमयितादमः अपराजितः सर्वसहः नियन्ता नियमो यमः सत्त्ववान् सात्विकः सत्यः सत्यधर्मपरायणः अभिप्रायप्रियार्होर्हः प्रियकृत्प्रीतिवर्धनः विहाय सगतिर्ज्योतिः सुरुचिर्हुतभुग्विभुः रविर्विरोचनः सूर्यः सविता रविलोचनः अनन्तो हुतभुग्भोक्ता सुखदो नैकजोऽग्रजः अनिर्विण्णः सदा मर्षि लोकाधिष्ठानमद्भुतः सनात् सनातनतमः कपिलः कपिरप्ययः स्वस्ति द स्वस्ति कृत् स्वस्ति स्वस्ति भुक् स्वस्ति दक्षिणः अरौद्रः कुण्डली चक्री विक्रम्यूर्जितशासनः शब्दातिगः शब्दसहः शिशिरः शर्वरीकरः अक्रूरः पेशलो दक्षः दक्षिणक्षमिणाम्बरः विद्वत्तमो वीतभयः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः उत्तारणो दुष्कृतिः पुण्यो दुःस्वप्ननाशनः वीरः रक्षणः सन्तः जीवनः पर्यवस्थितः अनन्तरूपोऽनन्तः श्रीः जितमन्युर्भयापहः चतुरस्रो गभीरात्मा विदिशो व्यादिशो दिशः अनादिर्भूर्भुवो लक्ष्मीः सुवीरो रुचिराङ्गदः जननो जनजन्मादिः भीमो भीमपराक्रमः आधारनिलयो धाता पुष्पः सप्रजागरः ऊर्ध्वगः सत्पथाचारः प्राणदः प्रणवप्पणः प्रमाणं प्राणनिलयः प्राणभृत् प्राणजीवनः तत्त्वं तत्त्वविदेकात्मा जन्म मृत्युजरातिगः भूर्भुवः स्वस्तरुस्तारः सविता प्रपितामहः यज्ञो यज्ञपतिर्यज्वा यज्ञाङ्गो यज्ञवाहनः यज्ञभृद् यज्ञकृद्यज्ञी यज्ञभुग्यज्ञसाधनः यज्ञातकृद् यज्ञगुह्यम् अन्नमन्नाद एव च आत्मयोनिः स्वयं जातः वैखानः सामगायनः देवकी नन्दनः स्रष्टा क्षितीशः पापनाशनः शङ्खभृन्नन्दकी चक्री शाङ्गधन्वा गदाधरः रथाङ्गपाणिरक्षोभ्यः सर्वप्रहरणायुधः श्री सर्वप्रहरणायुधः ॐ नमः इति।
Hari Om, my Chinmaya family, who's gathered here in person, and for all others who are attending on YouTube from home. It feels wonderful, almost surreal, to be here together and attending the satsang in person. This is a beautiful March morning. If you remember, exactly 2 years ago, when we had made all the preparations for our favorite festival of Holi, this whisper of coronavirus came in, which turned into a roar, and eventually we shut down not just Holi, but all Balvihar classes and adult satsang. It's history for last 2 years after that. But successfully, we kept the classes going on Zoom, Balvihar as well as adult satsang, thanks to the foresight of our Pujya Acharyas. All our Balvihar teachers, all volunteers and parents cooperated, and big thanks are due to our IT team also to make that possible. So let's hope that we are out of this COVID pandemic and we will resume our personal in-touch lifestyle with the same valuable lessons learned and new appreciation for life and learning. So, thank you to all those who came for Mahashivratri on that day, and yesterday for Mahamrityunjay Homam in this hall yesterday. With all the COVID precautions, our volunteers did a phenomenal job, you will agree, under the leadership of Srinivas Keti Reddipalli and the entire temple team. They did a wonderful job. All other teams, such as kitchen, student council, festival, name, and everybody cooperated, and it became a beautiful celebration in love and dedication to Shri Saumyakashi Shivalaya. All the pujas, rudras went so well, done by our beloved priest, Shri Ganeshji. Thanks and kudos to all. All our Balvihar classes are going on Zoom. We will keep you informed if there are any changes. This year also we are not going to celebrate Holi, as you will understand. Next year we'll come back with a bang though. One more reminder, next Sunday is the springtime forward daylight change time, so remember for next Sunday. And that's all we have. We are looking forward anxiously to listen to Puja Uncle in person. Thank you, Hari Om.
As I sing the first bhajan, may I request some of you who are on the side to just pick up your chair and come, because there are so few of you, so it, otherwise it looks like I'm talking to an empty room. So those who are sitting, if you don't mind coming a little forward so they can put the chairs behind you, but don't come too close to each other. No, you can come here. It's only that next to each other, because so if the chair people can come this way, it's a little easier, Even from back, if you want to come forward, feel free. It's a little better. Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
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 Charanam Ganesha.
Charanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Vagesha Sharanam Sharanam Vagesha.
Vagesha Sharanam Sharanam Vagesha.
Sarisha Sharanam Sharanam Sarisa.
Sarisha Sharanam Sharanam Sarisha.
Sarisha Sharanam Sharanam Sarisa.
Sarisha Sharanam Sharanam Sarisha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Charanam Ganesha.
Charanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha.
Jamuna,
Akhanda Mandalakaram
Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव। Because we are not doing Bhagavad Gita.
Right. No, that's friends. It has been like 2 years. We have lost several of our members in 2 years. Some of them very hardworking in every respect, and also the current war that we see every day. No need to describe, we all know the pain. So let us observe Maun for all those we have lost in Chinmaya mission in the past 2 years, as well as what is happening in Ukraine. With a wish that Bhagwan gives strength to all those whose families are being separated right now because of all things that are happening. In your own words, pray to Bhagwan and observe silence. स्वस्ति प्रजाप्य परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषाः गो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्लोका नंबर 9। भाव शून्य सद्भाव सुस्थिति।
भाव शून्य सद्भाव सुस्थिति। भावना बलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा। हृस्थले मनः स्वस्थता क्रिया।
स्वस्थता क्रिया।
भक्ति योग बोधाश्च निश्चितम्। भक्ति योग बोधाश्च निश्चितम्। वायुरोधना।
हरि ओम। One sloka at a time. So we were on Rutstale Manaha Swasthata Kriya. Rutstale Manaha Swasthata Kriya. So far, Karma Yoga in the first three slokas, and Bhakti Yoga beginning 4 through 9 has been explained. And here Bhagavan says that no matter what one follows, we must remember we all have minds that think differently. And everybody, some are karma oriented. They want to do things. You know, if you say, I'm going to temple, you guys go to temple, I want to do work. Others will say, look, I'll work, but I do want to do puja. No matter what, I want to go for puja. Thus, one says, no, but I want to do japa. Then there are some who will say, I want to do Ashtanga Yoga. Bhagavan says, Kriya, Bhakti, Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bodha, Jnana Yoga cha, Nischitam. Know it for certain. What? Rutstale Manaha Swasthata. The goal, no matter how or what religion you follow really, the ultimate goal is what? Rutstale, in the heart. So, Rutstale Manaha, mind, in the heart. In other words, at the core of personality, in the Atma, swastha. See, this word swasthata is very important. Physically, we know, especially in India, right? Bhai kem che tu? Kaise ho? Swastha. Right? Now, swastha meaning what? My natural state when there are no disease. Blood pressure is 120 over 70. Unless the drug company keeps things moving down, cholesterol is what it should be. All those things, then you say, I am swastha. Now think of it. Physically, we all want to be swastha. But am I only made up of the sthula sarir, gross body? Or do I also have sukshma sarir, mind and intellect, antakaran, the subtle body? We very rarely think of or ask even anybody, how are you doing? It is always with respect to what? Shari. Now tell me, if we go for a physical, right? And generally, not for young people, but not for some of these young people sitting here, but people like myself, when a car is 75-year-old, you cannot find everything right. So what does the doctor do? After the blood analysis, after checking everything, what does he do? He says, well, I think you need to take thyroid medicine to bring that to normal. You need to take cholesterol medicine to bring it to normal. You need to take blood pressure medicine, right? All these things. And in order to reduce medicine, if you can exercise and bring your weight down, that would help. Plus, on top of it, if you also observe your diet, that would also help. Right? In other words, he shows us different things to do. Similarly, if we were to go for a checkup of our mind, right? Most of us don't need to go to anybody. We can check up our own mind. And what do we find? Previous sloka says what? Bhava shunya sad, bhava susthiti. And here he says, Rustale mana swasthata kriya. Swastha at the mental level is what? Bhava shunya sad bhava. Right? Whenever there are agitation in the mind, right? I and I want, right? Now whether it is positive, neutral or negative, it doesn't matter. Right? I really want to help those people in Ukraine. I'm going to send a check, or they are collecting goods, I want to send it. I'm going to pray for them. All those are also what? Thoughts. Please understand. They are good thoughts, but they are thoughts. Then anger, jealousy, lust, they are also thoughts. And what is he saying? Bhava shunya sad bhava susthiti. What is the natural state of the mind that should be? Bhava shunya. Right? Why do you and I always enjoy deep sleep? What are the thoughts in deep sleep? Zero. Bhava shunya. And what is he saying? Sad bhava susthitihi. Where do I reside? In the lap of Narayana. Remember, Sat, Satchitananda, Sat. Sat bhava, what is the bhava? I know nothing. Chit is there, but Chit is already quiet. Remember, there are no thoughts. So only what? I exist. And I know not. Total ignorance in deep sleep. Sat bhava sunya. Sat bhava susthiti. And every one of us without fail, what do we say? I enjoyed my sleep. And everybody wants to enjoy the sleep. And if we can't for some reason, it's because of what? Either physical uncomfort or stresses. And then what do? The doctor gives us medicine so you can sleep well. Meaning what? What are we trying to create? Sadbhava susthiti. This is all we want. Now for physical we saw, right? Take cholesterol medicine, do exercises, that. Then what should I do for this thing? So he says karma yoga, bhakti yoga, astanga yoga and jnana yoga. Now remember, nobody is 100% karma yoga, devoid of everything else. Nobody is absolutely jnana yoga. Nobody is absolutely bhakti yoga. We all are a mixture of all four, but one predominant and other three gauna or lesser extent. So he says here, Rustale mana swasthata kriya. So that's swasthata, which is for mind, and it is sahaj, natural, that need not be created. But because we are so involved, he says, the sahajta has been lost. From morning, just observe even for a second as I'm speaking, think of it. How often do you just sit down, doing nothing, and having practically no thoughts? Very rarely, very, very rarely. Meaning what? We have lost that ability, and with the fast media, or what you call, what is the word? The media? Social media, continuously keeping us in an agitated state, whereby, agitated in the sense, different thoughts, whereby susthiti does not come. And then even because the thoughts, agitations are so high, even at night people will have difficulty sleeping. And we see this modern life, what I hear from, the radio, news, etc. Even teenagers are texting and doing things in the middle of the night, etc. And then they are deprived. Colleges have now started classes later. When we used to go, it was 8 o'clock. Now they have very few classes in the morning because children cannot get up. Can you imagine what state? We used to be told, and grew up in Mumbai, there were two things. One, you should get up before the sunrise and before the servant. Right? Because if any is here to pick up your bed, we were all sleeping on a mattress on the floor, you better be up before he comes or before sunrise. Thus, entire thing has changed and swasthata of the mind is lost. So Bhagavan says here, Rustale mana swasthata kriya. So what is it? Where is the mind abiding? Swasthata kriya, Rustale, abidance of the mind. When in deep sleep, bhava shunya sad, bhava susthiti. So mind is abiding in the lap of Ishvara in deep sleep. During waking hours and dream, the mind is abiding where? Always either in the world of objects, emotions, and thoughts. And remember, all these three bring what? They only bring agitations. So what is he saying? Through these four yogas, try to understand the first three, even to a certain extent, Jnana Yoga, when you do not understand, they only quieten the mind, and this is something one has to understand very well. If I do Karma Yoga, if I do Bhakti meaning love for the Lord, so when I'm in Mandir, and everyone has experienced, say you are a Ram Bhakta, Shiv Bhakta, Mahasiva, and you are there, and those who enjoy this Rudram, etc., and when Rudram is being chanted, etc., what happens? Their agitations go down and they thoroughly enjoy. Right? Those who are Vaishnava and love to hear Vishnu Sahasranam, when they are listening to Vishnu Sahasranam and they understand, mind is quiet. Some people, so whatever, but mind becomes quiet. Bhava sunya sat, bhava susthiti. So the individuals, they either through bhakti, karma, they try to do this, but what they fail to understand, that as soon as I come out of the mandir and Jai Jagadisha Hare is over, the quietude of my mind does not last. And the same is true for the next yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga, where he takes us all the way to Samadhi. In other words, if we saw earlier, right, in Bhakti Yoga, some people would do puja. Others will do pujanam japas. Om Namah Shivaya, Om. And japa leading to chintana and dhyana, right? Chitta jam japa, dhyana uttamam. And what did we learn there? When the japa continues and the space between two successive japa is increased, that is the silence. That silence is always there, upon which mantra rises from me, mantra goes away. In other words, that is self-conscious I am. What happens when you and I do not know? We enjoy that silence. Oh, aaj meditation itna acha hua, I felt so good, it was so good. But is meditation only to feel good when the mind is quiet? Now think of it. You can go to a nice restaurant where you love food, eat, and when you come back, how do you feel? I feel very good, mind is quiet, right? Talk to a young man, goes to a nightclub and sees dancing girls, mind is very quiet. While in other words, when my desire is fulfilled, right, whatever it is, somebody who wants to go and see a football game, when he goes there and sees it, his mind is quiet. But is that the purpose of religion also? Unless and until one comes to know that silence is me and other things are asvastha. See, unless and until I know, assuming, okay, you are 22 years old and 120/70 should be your blood pressure. Once you know it, and then when you come to know it is 120/70, you know I'm normal. You can meditate, quieten, I felt very good. You come out, all the problems are still there. Again, what I want to meditate, why I'm not feeling, then it is of no good. But once you come to understand that quietude, rustale manas swasthata kriya, when my mind is abiding here, I am not conscious of myself. I take myself to be finite. I am apurna, incomplete. Only when I have this, I will be complete. Only when my emotions are satisfied, I will be complete. And when they are fulfilled, etc., temporarily I am quiet because my nature is that. But if I do not know that I am quiet because my nature is this and not this, that cycle will keep repeating itself. So when he says here, rutstale mana swasthata kriya, is you and I must strive again and again in meditation, any way, when the mind is quiet, appreciate the fact that when the mind is quiet, my nature, I am self-conscious, which is Sat Chit Ananda, that alone exists and that is what I am. And when my desire is fulfilled and I need nothing, I am self-sufficient. But again, what happens? Please pay attention. I am self-sufficient. Then the very next thing is what? Identify with the body, mind and intellect. The minute I identify with BMI, meaning what happens? I am no longer self-sufficient. Body is finite, mind is finite. Again, I'm Rutstale Mana. Instead, what happens? Mind, Rutstale Mana. Oh, it is Thala. Right? Not Rutstala. Oh, it is Thala. So the objective is not to run away from the world, but to appreciate this fact that I am this, no different. This does not mean the person doesn't do anything. An actor, when he takes part, he identifies with the part so well, he can make all of us cry, smile, etc. But no time during the entire performance, he ever forgets that he is not, right? I mean, he is the actor, and he's only playing this part. And as long as he knows I'm playing the part, he performs the part absolutely beautiful. Even for a second, if he takes himself to be the very part that he's playing, what will happen? He will forget the dialogue because he identifies with the role so much. So you and I, when we meditate, when we purify the heart and quieten, when he says Rutstale Mana Swasthata Kriya Bhakti Yoga Bodh Nishchitam, the goal for all the four is for you and I to know that I am the truth and nothing but the truth, and everything else that I do during waking hours is the role that I'm playing. Now tell me, when you are playing the role like an actor, lots of good and bad things will come, isn't it? When your children fall, etc., sometimes good news, bad news, things keep on happening. You turn on the TV nowadays, and not nowadays, anytime, right? They always have something which agitates, upsets us, etc. But, hey, this is the world, right? Only difference is when Mahabharat war was going on, there was only one channel and there was only one viewer. And the Dhritarashtra was the viewer, and Sanjaya was the cameraman who reporting. So everybody didn't know. But the carnage was no different. When Ramayana occurred, but now the news media feeds everything and we get agitated. So you and I have to be extra careful and therefore to let our mind abide in the truth is more and more important for us. So when he says, Rutstale mana swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodh aschanischitam. So now let's go to the next one and then I'll come back.
Vayurodhana.
Hari Om. I forgot. Last week, I think, I was explaining the Ashtanga Yoga. I got into only Rutstalemana, but I was explaining Ashtanga Yoga. So the first is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Right? Yama, things that I must do or things that I have to avoid. In other words, asatyam should be avoided. So satyam becomes a value. Right? Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya meaning moderate life depending on whether you are a student, grihastha, vanaprastha ashram, moderate life according to where you are in the world at that time. So satyam, brahmacharya, ahimsa, no hinsa even at mental level to anybody. We saw that. Ahimsa and aparigraha, asteya. Then niyama, saucha, santosh, we saw that, right, last time. So all the niyama should be followed. And then he says, the pranayama, the next sloka itself will explain what pranayama is. So, we will come to that. Then pratyahar. Pratyahar is also very, very important. But when we are on yama and niyama, I want to tell you one thing. See, and in conjunction with those who are listening from home and those who understand the meaning of Ishwararpitam, Ichchayakrutam, Chitta Shodhakam, Mukti Sadhakam. Right? Now, Ishwararpitam na Ichchayakrutam. Right? If you have children who are under 12 and both the parents have to be home, it is understandable that you do not come. But if your children are about 12 who can turn on and attend Bal Vihar on their own, you can come. But say, Jane do, after all it is here, why should I get, see that is the thing, why should I get in the car and go there? Just like some employees who are quitting. But don't forget, when surgery has to be done, you don't say, doctor, ghar pe hi aake kar de ho na. Why come to the hospital? Right? Recently somebody was sick and they told me, I said, if she's well, how come she's not coming home? Gaurang uncle, we cannot really look after her as well. So we would rather she be in hospital 2 more days because the nurses are here, doctors are here. So the care can be given. Right? If my gross body is to be treated and I have to be at the hospital, for this Sukshma Sarira, see, we think it is what? It is not information gathering. Ishvara arpitam na ichchayakrutam. What do we mean by na ichchayakrutam? Right? Don't do according to my ichcha, but that which is right. Hey, I can easily get in my car and drive, right? Because I don't have younger children or I only have one, but my wife can take care of it, I can go there. But nahi jana hai. Is that it? What is it? Ishvara arpitam na ichchayakrutam or ichchayakrutam? Do you see? You and I gather information. But when it comes to put it in practice, whether it is aparigraha, asteya, meaning, all the chori nahi karna la, all these we are told. But unless we quiet down and say, observe every activity, am I doing it right? The other day, Darshanaben met me. And tonight I'm meeting her at somebody's home. So Darshanaben says, uncle, Sunday, I will not be coming here. I will be meeting you over there. I go, how come? Oh, I have to cook. I said, come in the morning, cook and bring it. I'll take the food. She doesn't want to drive 2 times. I said, skip the evening party. I mean, you have a choice. either to meet in the evening for dinner, or come here because we don't want to drive twice, and I'm supposed to take food. I said, give me the food, I'll take it for you. And you come in the morning, she's right there. But see how we have PhD in justification. I can understand as we get older, we don't want to drive, etc. See what happens, we all take that which is easily available. वो तो चलता रहता है. Understand, and I want everybody at home also to know. You will in fact save your Guru Dakshina also. No need to tune up. Your children can also, now there are so many things available on YouTube. You can buy Darsana Auntie's Balvihar books, start teaching your children at home. And there are probably 1,000 different Swamis whose videotapes on Upadesh Sara and everything is available. Just listen. They will never ask you for Guru Dakshina. Fill out the form. Have you filled out the form or not, etc. Have you filled out pledge? Come on time. Nothing. But does it make any difference? Why is it called Shravana in presence of the teacher? Please understand. I am no Chinmayananda, but I represent him. There are so many things. It is like a difference between, you want your children to be raised by an ayah or a mother. YouTube, etc. is ayah. It is not live. Though you may listen to it live. There is a huge difference, between seeing your grandchildren in San Francisco on what it's called? Facebook, FaceTime. Right? What do they tell every time you see them on FaceTime? Grandpa, when are you coming? When are you coming? Not, I'm seeing you FaceTime, no need to come. Hurry home. Think of it. The same applies here. Yama. What is my duty? Na ichchaya krutam, etc. Yama niyama. Hey, this is something, this is mine. I must go. So, urging everyone, those who can, you must come. Then Bhagavan says, Pratyahar. Pratyahar, Shivratri was just around the corner and you all know it, right? Two things. Either you are completely fasting, then assuming, there are two Shivratri. Monday, suppose you celebrated Shivratri. Sunday night, you add up to here. Why? Because tomorrow I'm not eating anything. Or tomorrow we have special Farali food, meaning not only fruits, etc., but then Shrikhand and Raja, all these different things. And only that thing is to be cooked and others. And in the evening, we'll go to the temple and then come and watch a movie, because there isn't much to do. Please, we have seen this in Bhajagovindam also. 5 Gnanendriyas, Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Prati Ahar. When it rains, I shut my windows and don't allow rain to come in. Pratyahar meaning all the 5 organs of perception. Shabda, ear, right? The words that come. Sparsa, Sabda, Rupa, through eyes. Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha. Controlling all the 5 is called Pratyahara. Allow it to run amok. What happens? Just as Bhagwan is controlling the 4 horses, right? You allow the horses to run amok and not control, you will never reach your destination. But the horses are under the control, then the horses will take the Ratha to destination. So 5 Gnanendriyas must be under control. This is called Pratyahar. Otherwise, for those of who are only following pure Vedanta, it is called Uparati or Dhamma, where you control your sense organs. Okay? So Pranayam, Pratyaharam, then Dharana. Dharana, this is going so parallel to what we are doing in Bhagavad Gita also right now. It's almost identical. Dharana is focusing our mind, literally concentration, but focusing the mind only on one place and not allowing it to go anywhere. And this is what you do, right? When you are even meditating or sitting down. Why do we have temple, and in temple we put Bhagwan's Murti picture, Swamiji's picture or Shiva's picture, etc. They say keep him at the eye level. So even if the eye is open, What do you see? You see your Guru's photo. You see Bhagwan's picture. Or you see a lamp. As soon as you see again what it reminds you of Bhagwan, and you focus on that lamp or that picture. Dharana literally means, you gather yourself and focus on one point and don't allow the mind to run away. Some of you may be familiar in India when management and labor has problem. And the manager, generally it is a managing director, they have dharana. So all the employees, just 500, 1,000 of them would gather around and not allow that manager to even leave his office, even to go to bathroom. It's called dharana ki hai, And what is their dhyaya? The manager, he dare not leave. That same principle applies. Dharana meaning you see Bhagwan Krishna, Ram, Shiv in your heart. Eyes are closed, you are focusing on him alone. Be it Ganpati, Amba, it doesn't matter. That is called dharana. And then ekaki. First is Deshabandhana is dharana. Deshabandhana meaning space. And then ekaki pratyaya, that one pratyaya, the essence of where I'm focusing. You try to understand. Just like in Chitta Jamjapa, between the two mantras, the space, the Chaitanya, the substratum, I am, and you try to understand, just totally focusing. When you thus do, what happens is, remember, Rutstale mana swasthata, swastha. Your natural state is what? Samadhi. You glide into that natural state where mind is absolutely devoid of bhava sunya sat, bhava susthiti. There are no more thoughts and mind is quiet. But please understand, once you understand, then you come out, you need not be afraid of thoughts. Because now I know that like an actor, I am that silence, that is my sahaja sthiti, that is my swasthata. And then I function in the world. As an actor, Bhagwan, whatever situation you bring, I will act and I will do. But I will not allow it to make me dance. Different things come and different things go. You remain swastha. How? Hey, if I have diabetes, I will not eat sugar. I will be swastha. And I will take, metformin? I'll take metformin. And it will control. In other words, I will apply everything. So whenever I get attached, etc., again, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, mind becomes quiet. Hey, my nature is silence and I got control. So Bhagavan says, Bodhascha Nischitam. That is the Nischitam. Remember, all the four are leading to the same thing. Now, Vayurodhanat.
Vayurodhanat liyate manaha.
Vayurodhanat.
Jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam.
Jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam.
Vayurodhanat liyate manaha.
Vayurodhanat liyate manah.
Jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam.
Jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam.
Karturajnaya prapyate phalam. Karma kim param karma tajjadam.
So the objective is to quieten the mind. So he says here, liyate manaha. How? Vayu rodhanat. By restraining vayu. And then he immediately gives example, jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam. We all as children have tried to catch bird. You may not remember. When mother used to throw, the seeds in the, not foyer, agassi we call it, on the terrace. And the sparrows or kabutar, kabutar is what? Pigeons will come. And 3 and 4-year-old children, what do? When all these pigeons are eating, you go try to catch the pigeon. But has anyone caught a pigeon? It is not. But the bird catcher, what does he do? He spreads all these little seeds and lots of birds will come. And the net is already put, tied. And all he does is releases the net and it comes down and it traps all the birds. Now, when the birds are trapped, for the first few seconds, what happens? They don't know what has happened, but pretty soon they get exhausted, and what happens? They quiet down. And I don't know how many of you have heard this story, but some of you must have, right? In first grade, second grade, said all these birds were trapped, but one bird was not trapped, and he was sitting up on the branch, and he told all these people, don't worry, birds, don't worry. Pretend you are all dead and be quiet. And when I start flying, you all of you together fly. So you can lift the entire net. And it's not that far. You come there. I have 3 friends who will cut the net and make you free. And they are all talking in their language. And then she says, look, now I'm ready to fly. And the bird flew. This is for 4 and 5-year-old, okay? And the bird flew, and all the other birds flew with the net. And where did they go? Just little bit far away where this bird catcher cannot see. And then this other bird told his friend, and who were the friends? 4 big rats. And the rats came and started chewing on the net, and they cut the net, and all the birds were free forever and ever. I'm sure you have heard, some of you have heard this story, right? Well, you may have forgotten, first grade versus 75, it's 50 years, 70 years. So similarly, he says, Vayu rodhanat liyate mana jalapakshivat. How the birds that are, and the minute the net is cut, the totally exhausted bird who has literally no strength, do you think it will just stay there? What happens? The second the net is open, with double the amount of force, they fly away, and the topmost branch that they can find and sit there so they don't get caught. Bhagwan says, Vayu rodhanat liyate mana. He is giving us a trick. This is Ashtanga Yoga. Remember, pranayam, that's what he is telling us. With the help of pranayam, you can also quieten your mind. Right? By restraining your mind, by restraining your breath, you can quieten. It is called prana chaksa, prana vikshana. So you basically observing your breath. That is called the highest pranayam. I know most of us now are familiar with what Swami Ramdevji Maharaj has taught us. Oh, those are all good for health, but remember the whole purpose, we must understand, of Ashtanga Yoga is not what you and I see in America. I'm doing yoga. The whole yoga is to unite me with the Lord of my heart, swasthata, right? Rutstale mana swastha. But they have no idea of that, Yoga is what nowadays? Do exercise and pranayam. That is only one insignificant part of Ashtanga Yoga, of the 8th step. It is not the end all and be all. So, swas, now what happens? Just like the pakshi, the bird, you remove the net and they fly away. He says you can control your breath. In other words, observe it going in and out. Meaning what? You are not allowing your mind to wander anywhere else, and you are observing. And laya, absorption, mind has become totally quiet. But as soon as you stop observing the mind, swasa, niyama, what happens? All my problems that were there, which for a minute or 5 minutes I forgot, good things and bad things. My daughter's marriage coming up, invitations have been printed, but this is printed meaning we are saving money, it's email only, it's all done. We just have to send it, etc. Those are good things. But breathing, everything stops. As soon as you come out and no longer observe the breath, like that bird, my mind with double the power will take off. And all the so-called stresses and strains of everyday life again will crowd. And when it does, the one who is not doing it says, "Tara, karine kaam su chai?" What is the use of doing it? You listen to pravachan. You do all, it makes no change in you. Because the one who is nearest to you will never notice minor changes, right? You never find your child growing up because you see him every day. But someone who sees him after 3 years, they saw him at the age of 9 and now they see when he's 13, "Alright, what happened? You have changed so much." So, Vayu Rodhanath Liyadam, once the goal, see, you and I must remember the goal. Why am I doing it? So, this is the first step. 11:30 or 11:15?
11.
Oh, so I'm done. It used to be hour. Okay, sorry. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Now friends, I know that you cannot tell your children that look, you should come. But tell your friend to tell your children, and you tell their children who are married with children, "Hey, look, you should come." And let your friends also know. Because even somebody came and told me right now and yesterday, and I'm not just making this up, I have several, is Girish here today? Girish Sandana? Yeah, Girish sent me an email, Rupaben sent me an email, and so many people told me yesterday, "Gaurang uncle, it was so nice just to be here at Smriti and see each other smiling." And today, one person came and told me, "Uncle, I met so many people, they said they are so happy, but not that many people are sitting there. Please announce, So those who are not there and are looking to be little more happy, be here next Sunday." Hari Om.